So this is the second video in the series of best practice blogging for beginners using WordPress. It's a fairly simple series for people who are just getting started, and we've already posted a bit of content using our header or our title and a couple of subtitles. So let's pick up where we left off. Let's just have a quick preview of how our post is looking. Okay, so here's our template, and here's my title. You can see here the category that we've chosen. Sorry, these are just the tags in this one. So we're diving, Indonesia, seahorses. Okay, and we've got a bit of text, and then two nice subtitles, text, subtitle, text. Okay, pretty simple. So we'll go back in here into edit at the top of the screen, and we're going to move on to adding some images to our post. So images are fairly straightforward. Again, it's nothing too complex. So when we've already got our text in here, so we'll add a couple of images. I want to show you two different things. The first one is just posting an image from our existing library. So all you do, you put your cursor where you want your image, and you click Add Media here. You can also go via Media and Add New, but it's quicker just to Add Media, and that will open up your media library. And I know that I already have an image in here of Indonesia, which is fitting. And if you go over here, I can see that the image size is about right, 700 pixels wide. I like 700 or 600 pixels wide. We have a fairly wide column width in this blog, so it's important that our images fill that width. Visually, for me, I think it looks better when the image goes the full width of the column. Okay, so the width is good. Importantly, this is a fairly small image. It's only 180 kilobytes. Anything below 200, 300 kilobytes is fine. I think if you go over 300 kilobytes, then you run into issues, and that's one of the things I'm going to show you. So we've got our image. The image has its own URL, which you don't need to worry about, but it has its own title. And when it comes to adding your own image, we'll probably see that the title could be the name of the camera it was taken with. It could be just image number blah blah blah. And that's not telling anyone very much. So the reason we give a name to our images is purely from an SEO perspective. We want the search engines to know what our images are, because they can't see the image, but they can read the title. And we want our users to know what our images are. Now, there will be times when our images won't load properly, and when our images don't load, the users will either see our title or what is called our alt text. And alt text is actually for people with impaired hearing, who can actually have the alt text read to them to explain what the image is all about. So here, for example, in the title, I've just named the image Diving in Pulau Way, which kind of describes what we have in the picture. It's a nice beach in Pulau Way, Indonesia. But for the alt text, I want to give this a name that is descriptive of the image, but it also reflects the title of our blog post. So our title of our blog post actually is Diving in Pulau Way, Indonesia, or Diving in Indonesia, so I'm going to add that. We also have the same here. So because it's a picture of the beach, I've just extended this to say Diving from the beach in Pulau Way. And the important thing here to remember is you want something that is kind of a cross between what's in the picture and what you want the search engines to see. How are they going to find this post via the image? So if I open up a Google window, for example, and I type in Diving from the beach in Pulau Way, probably not going to find much. But some people search with images, and here they are. So this is an Indonesian image. So this is where our image would appear if and when we have enough credibility with Google. Okay, so I'm going to close that again. So that's why it's important to give your images a title and an alt text. Now I don't think you need to touch the alignment because we're going for a full column width. Doesn't really matter. I prefer not to link my images out. Sometimes you might want to, but generally speaking, I prefer just to have the image as a static image. And then you can see the size here. So I could display this as a thumbnail. Let's do that. Display it as a thumbnail, and there you go. It's tiny. So let's edit that image again and turn it to full size. And there we go. That looks much better. Okay, so that's how you insert an image. Now, sometimes you might want to insert an image that isn't already on your in your media library. So let me say, for example, I'm going to insert an image here. So I'm doing the same thing, add media. It opens up my library, but there's nothing here that I want, so I'm going to pick something. What can I pick at random that could be useful? I'm just going to pick this fin here. Okay, so it's not really relevant, but it'll do. So I'm going to drag this across, if it will let me. Oh, what's going on? There we go. Drag it across onto my library, drop it there, and here we go. Now then, I'm going to assume that this is a really large image. It is actually quite large, 800 by 800. Let's imagine this is 650 kilobytes rather than 65, which is actually perfect. What I'm going to do, I'm going to delete that, and I'm going to find the image, and I'm going to create a copy of it. This image is 650 kilobytes, it's too big, so we go File, Duplicate. I close the original, and then I'm going to just resize it, adjust size, using tools, adjust size, and 700 is fine for this. So let's say we drop it down to 700, and it's dropped down from 650 kilobytes to 70 kilobytes. I know that's not what actually has happened here, but that is basically the way to do to resize your image if you just want to use preview like I do. Click OK, and then we're going to file and save it. I'm also going to save this to my desktop. This is a good opportunity. So this image here is called, it has what is probably quite a SEO friendly title for whoever's trying to get found for Mares Avanti Quattro fins. But because this image isn't actually Mares Avanti Quattro fins, it's a picture of a turtle, I'm going to say that is a hawksbill turtle spotted while diving in Indonesia. Okay. Save that to the desktop. I can actually adjust the size here, so it's gone down to 72 kilobytes. I can bring it up, I can make it even smaller. Generally speaking, somewhere around 100 kilobytes I think is fine. So if I save that and close it, should have saved onto my desktop. Here it is, hawksbill turtle. I'm going to drag that onto my media library, and here it is. So now I have a smaller image, it's a smaller size, which means the page will load nice and quickly. We've all been there waiting for a website's images to load, and it's a bit frustrating. I'm going to copy the title, because I gave it a very nice title, so that's fine for the alt text as well. And there we go. Alignment none, link to none, size, I want full size. Insert into post. Okay, so now I have a second image in my post. So we're nearly done with images. There's just one final thing that I want to show you with your image, and that is featured image. Now if I save a draft again. And I preview my post. There it is, everything's looking good. But if I go to my blog roll, this one will do. This post here won't be in the blog roll because it's only a draft at the moment. But you can see here that every post has an image that goes with it. And that image is a certain dimension. So the way that I'm going to do this is, this is called a featured image. So if I go back to my post and I scroll down here, I see here there's a set featured image. Now I could just pick an image at random, but what you may have noticed from that previous tab is that the images were all a certain ratio, and they're actually a ratio of 2 to 1, so they're twice as wide as they are high. Now if I choose this image here and set it as the featured image, it might not display that very well. It might just choose at random how that image is displayed. So what I would tend to do, I would find another image. Let's, for argument's sake, take actually I know I have a picture of a fish in here, so let me choose a fish on that one. Here we go. Now that looks about right, that ratio. Yeah, that's about twice as long as it is, as wide as it is tall. I'm going to adjust the size. Okay. But it's actually still a bit too tall, this one, so I'm going to trim it down 600 to 300. So that's about the right ratio, and then I just use Tools, Crop, and then I've got a nice, if I just save that image, I've got a nice small, correctly dimensioned image that I can use as my featured image. So if I go back to our Set Featured Image button here, and I'm going to just drag this image across. And there we go, 600 by 300. It's only 31 kilobytes, so that's nice and small. I do the alt text again, and I set featured image. So that won't actually appear in our post, but when we are looking at this post listed with all the other posts in the blog roll, then it will appear under that image. Let me save that as a draft again. Then preview the post. And that is all we need to know about images. Images in the post plus a featured image to display in the blog roll, which will be just the same as one of these. Okay.